Thaksin and Pheu Thai have burned their bridges with its national family and loyal support base. End to the narrative over 2 decades of political power wielded by the Shinawatra family as Pheu Thai Party maneuvers have angered the party's devoted base. It is a loss of faith that is unlikely to recover despite the pleas of one Udon Thani-based MP this weekend for the party to change tack and reverse course as it slides into probably the biggest political miscalculation and blunder in Thai history. Thailand's political crisis has already obliterated the unity and support behind the Pheu Thai Party's family following the decisions taken by the party's executive in Bangkok in recent weeks, first in withdrawing from a coalition with the Move Forward Party and now for cementing a deal with the Pheu Thai Party while preparing to accept the participation of 2 parties associated with a military junta in a cross-polar government. The moves have outraged Pheu Thai and red shirt supporters nationwide who up to recent days could scarcely believe the conflicting media reports. Now, they are burning their shirts in spontaneous and numerous displays of anger just as the country's second-largest party and the Shinawatra family appear to be on the verge of burning its bridges with its support base and power on the ground as a political movement. Red shirt and Pheu Thai supporters in Samut, Sakhon on Monday set fire to political paraphernalia associated with 2 decades of campaigning for Thaksin Shinawatra, Inset Left, and his political parties after the decision taken by Pheu Thai in Bangkok over the past few weeks to break its alliance with the Move Forward Party and to enter into government with parties associated with the outgoing ministry breaking campaign election pledges and countering the democratic principle which the party committed itself to in an 8-party agreement on May 22, 2023. Similar displays are being witnessed throughout Thailand, including in Udon Thani, where Move Forward Party MP Natapong Pithachasiri, Inset Left Bottom, urged the party to reconsider and reverse course given the depth of public feeling. A group of approximately 50 people gathered in Samut Sakhon province on Monday, west of Bangkok on the Gulf of Thailand, to burn an effigy of former Thai Premier Thaksin Shinawatra along with paraphernalia associated with the Red Shirt movement in protest against last week's confirmation by the Pheu Thai Party that it was forming a government across the polls which now looks like it may include parties associated with the former military junta, namely the Palong Prakarat Party of Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan and the United Thai Nation, Ruam Thai Sang Chart, Party of Prime Minister Prachanocha. The 50 people gathered in the Krathambane district of Samut Sakhon on Monday were highly critical of Mr. Thaksin as they torched materials collected during 18 years of street protests and political activity on behalf of the democratic movement which started with Mr. Thaksin's 2-time general election winning Pheu Thai Party which won re-election in 2005. The first time in the history of Thailand's democracy that a party had been returned to government democratically but which was later ousted by the 2006 coup d'état after yellow shirt street protests. Red shirts call the Pheu Thai Party's actions disgusting dishonesty as they burn t-shirts and paraphernalia associated with 2 decades of politics. Mr. Wacharan Thipmunkal, a representative of the Samut Sakhon Red Shirt movement, issued a statement to reporters as the effigy and promotional materials burned, in which he castigated the Pheu Thai Party for what he termed disgusting dishonesty after the party did an about-turn on specific and repeated pronouncements on the campaign trail in the run-up to the May 14 general election. During the nationwide campaign including public rallies and media interviews, all key leaders of the Pheu Thai Party consistently denied any possibility of reaching across the aisles to the military parties, despite consistent media reports and speculation emanating from those sources, particularly the Palong Prakarat Party headed by current Deputy Prime Minister, Prawit Wongsuwan, that this would happen. The rising tensions within the once powerful Pheu Thai grassroots or family which is now disowning the Pheu Thai Parliamentary Party with rallies across Thailand in the past few days, come as Thailand finds itself in an increasingly difficult political crisis with voting for a potential prime minister and parliament suspended pending a constitutional court review which is expected to be addressed by judges on Wednesday the 16th of August. Court decision due this week will see a timetable for the next vote in Parliament on the nomination of Pheu Thai's Srettha Thavisin as Prime Minister. The court will decide on whether to take up a challenge to the renomination of Mr. Pita Limjaroen Red of the Move Forward Party on July 19. This issue, a significant constitutional one, has since then been overtaken by political developments as the Pheu Thai Party has withdrawn itself from an 8-party alliance with the Move Forward Party to form a government of hope based on democratic principles, signed on May 22, 2023, the 9th anniversary of the 2014 coup d'état which overthrew the then Pheu Thai Party government and installed the current Prime Minister, Prachanocha. Pheu Thai gives Move Forward the boot, promises a new constitution and another general election. Political crisis deepens as court takes up petition, voting on PM off until at least August 16 next. After breaking with the Move Forward Party and subsequent exploratory talks with all parties, Pheu Thai announced last week a plan to form the current proposed coalition as the first step towards a cross-polar government including conservative parties linked with the outgoing government. Opposition in the Senate reported to Mr. Sretha's candidacy for PM based on reports of a tax avoidance scheme linked with his property firm Sensiri. This new alliance, which so far has been confirmed between the Pheu Thai Party, which came second in the general election with 141 seats, and the third-placed Pheu Thai Party with 71 MPs, is expected to nominate the Pheu Thai Prime Ministerial nominee Mr. Sretha Thavisin as Prime Minister. The success of Mr. Sretha's candidacy for the top job, however, is by no means certain, nor is the date for the required joint sitting of Parliament, which may come as early as next Friday or Tuesday of the following week at the discretion of Parliament President Wan Muhammad Noor Matha if the Constitutional Court disposes of the legal case before it on Wednesday. Senators have raised Section 160(5) of the Constitution, which sets down the characteristic behavior required of any prospective Prime Minister towards ethical standards, suggesting that the upper house has a particular duty in this regard. There are multiple and persistent reports that many senators are uneasy about Mr. Sretha's proposed nomination after media reports concerning the businessman's property firm Sensiri, from which he resigned before the election campaign when Mr. Sretha committed himself to a new career in politics. These reports concern alleged tax avoidance maneuvers by the property firm in association with a large property purchase in which it is alleged by whistleblowers such as Mr. Choit Kamal visit the firm helped the sellers of the land avoid over $520 million in taxes, with the company denying any improper conduct or illegality in written clarifications on the claims made against it. Confusion and disorder reign in Pheu Thai's efforts to form a new government, with conflicting reports that some analysts attribute to a conservative plot. There is, in fact, general confusion concerning the Pheu Thai Party's efforts to put together this new coalition, with many analysts suggesting that such uncertainty is being deliberately created and is already beginning to undermine its credibility amongst the public and within the negotiations for a new government. For instance, there were reports over the weekend that Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan will now insist on having a cabinet position in the new government, despite reports circulating in the media days previously and attributed to Pheu Thai that he would designate his younger brother, Police General Patcharat Wongsuwan, for such a position. On Sunday, Deputy Leader of the Palong Prakarat Party, Chawat Thanikamanyusorn, currently the Digital Economy and Society Minister of the outgoing cabinet of General Prachanocha, came out to suggest that General Prawit had never made such a commitment and confirmed that he would accept any role in government offered to him. General Prawit Wongsuwan is the leader of the Palong Prakarat Party and its nominee for Prime Minister, Mr. Chawat stressed to reporters. It is thought that General Prawit, apart from 40 MPs in the House of Representatives, personally controls a significant number of senators in the upper house, handpicked and appointed by the outgoing junta in 2019. Senate blocked nomination of Pita Limjaroenrat as Prime Minister on July 12 last, despite the support of 62% of the House and 72% of the electorate. This unelected body, last month, on July 12, successfully blocked the original Move Forward and Pheu Thai Party government proposed, with 62% of MPs and 75% of the electorate behind it when the nomination of Pita Limjaroenrat failed. Most senators in the upper house abstained, 13 voted for with 39 senators against, denying him the 376 votes required to be elected Prime Minister under the distorted provision of Section 272 of the Constitution, which expires on May 11, 2024. Mr. Pita achieved 324 votes, 51 short of electing him Prime Minister. Thailand is facing a deep political crisis as Pita loses key vote and top court takes up complaints. There is now concern that the Pheu Thai Party, since it has rejected Move Forward and moved across the aisle to the parties associated with the outgoing government, may find itself at a disadvantage, with the bargaining power increasingly playing into the hands of General Prawit and the leader of the Pheu Thai Party, Deputy Prime Minister Udon Thani-based. Predictions that Mr. Sretha's nomination will also fail in the next joint session of Parliament, further weakening the position of the Pheu Thai Party. Some political analysts have suggested that ultimately Mr. Sretha's nomination for Prime Minister will also be blocked by the Senate, and that the Pheu Thai Party will lose the initiative to form a government which will be handed over to the Pheu Thai Party, which in turn will only accept General Prawit as Thailand's next Prime Minister. This is now a subject of open speculation among the public and creating exceptional unease. On Sunday, a Move Forward MP for Udon Thani, Mr. Natapong Pheu commented on activities in the northeastern province among redshirt followers who have also begun to burn their shirts and paraphernalia associated with the Pheu Thai Party. They are supported by leading celebrities, entertainers and personalities who are coming out to denounce the party for its betrayal of democratic ideals in the last week. Mr. Natapong, on Sunday, urged the Pheu Thai Party to think again about where this is going and confirmed to reporters that this feeling and opinion is prevalent in all the small villages in Udon Thani which previously supported parties associated with ex-Premier Thaksin and Shinawatra. Mr. Natapong said it was his understanding that there was a groundswell of opposition among the public to what had happened in Bangkok over the previous 2 weeks. Redshirts in Samut, Sakhon were bitter on Monday as they decried the fraudulent propaganda of Pheu Thai in the run-up to the May 14 general election. Back in Samut, Sakhon on Monday, Mr. Wakaran and 50 redshirts gathered and explained that the current actions of the Pheu Thai Party were a betrayal of the people's democratic ideals. He said the election promises and rhetoric of the party in the run-up to May 14 was nothing but fraudulent propaganda. The bonfire of redshirt paraphernalia included foot slappers, whistles, baseball hats and badges which have been associated with ongoing street protests linked to the political struggles of Mr. Thaksin and various parties associated with a political movement that has now effectively been destroyed. The political moves by the Pheu Thai Party in the last few weeks have sundered it perhaps permanently from its support base and obliterated the loyal following behind Mr. Thaksin and his younger sister Yingluck Shinawatra, Thailand's first female prime minister who swept to power with Pheu Thai in 2011. Both former prime ministers are currently in exile and subject to prison sentences in Thailand because of criminal cases linked with corruption and abuse of power which are believed to have been politically motivated but which nevertheless still stand as an obstacle to their return to the country. Plans to facilitate Thaksin's return to Thailand criticized as improper for a transparent democracy by academics and former Pheu Thai Party supporters. There is also a multitude of reports linking efforts to create a cross-polar government which has portrayed the talks between Pheu Thai and the parties associated with the outgoing government as the formation of a government of reconciliation, involving some sort of a deal to allow Mr. Thaksin to return to Thailand, something which has also been greeted with dissatisfaction from those advocating democratic ideals in Thailand. Reports last month of secret meetings in Hong Kong, which were confirmed, where Mr. Thaksin met key political party leaders, have been denounced by academics who would normally be supporters of the Pheu Thai Party, as not in keeping with a transparent democracy. On Sunday, a protest rally of protesters on bicycles and motorbikes pulled up outside the offices of the Pheu Thai Party and the Pheu Thai Party in the center of Bangkok in the business heart of the capital. At both locations, protesters left leaflets and splashed paint with glue traps normally used to catch mice being left at the Pheu Thai Party offices, a reference to Deputy Prime Minister Udon Thani-based, whose nickname in Thai, Nu, means mouse. At a rally outside the Pheu Thai Party's headquarters at 3 p.m., closely monitored by police, following representations by Deputy Prime Minister Udon to the Royal Thai Police in recent weeks over violent protests during his meetings and consultations with the Pheu Thai Party, officers kept a close eye on the protesters as speakers denounced the Pheu Thai Party's record in government, including the COVID-19 shutdowns and its efforts to decriminalize cannabis,